We are live!
Ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared for your Microsoft ARM-powered future? Because they're going to be bringing it to us, and we're going to be talking about it at the end of the show. You know what? Maybe not so much about it, but more about trying to get Linux on it, and maybe just the state of ARM desktop computing in general, because it's time for another weekly, daily Wednesdays. We got a couple of things for you. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Arthur.
Just getting wound up, wound down, wound sideways. However you like to get wound. I don't judge. But yeah, it looks like somebody has tried to get the ARC up and running. We talked about that on Saturday a little bit because Intel released some ARC drivers. I'm like, hey, it's only going to work on this version of Ubuntu 22.04 with this particular kernel, which I was like, do I have to install GIMP help files, AMD? I'm like, no, we're Intel, we're different. Somebody has found another way of getting around to that. Kinda just gonna be tragic for 10 minutes about the death of 486 in the Linux kernel and new version of 22.10 with Ubuntu's, and of course the aforementioned Microsoft Raspberry Pi with 32 gigs of RAM. That's where it gets interesting. The 32 gigs. Yeah,
32 gigs. Yeah.
And why do I say that? Here's why I say that. Because it's Microsoft. It's a dev kit. They're going to lock it down. But it's got 32 gigs of RAM. And it's reasonably priced. You're like, wait, you know what? There might be a concerted effort to get into it. What do you think, Jill? Maybe?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Someone's going to put Linux on that thing. Yay. No, it's a pretty nice kit, actually. A little slightly high price, but it's actually quite powerful. Hello,
32
Mir.
gigs of RAM.
Hi, Oil of Hope.
Right. Let me see. I got that together. I'm just moving around some knobs. I changed USB ports, so I get nervous when I change USB ports. Why? Because USB is a horrible way to interface with the computers. I don't trust it. It should not be trusted. And I'm not even talking about audio. What do you trust? What do I trust it? What do we trust USB with? Input, hit devices, keyboard, pretty solid. Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I was going to say Bluetooth, and I'm like, for the most part, Bluetooth, it usually works, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a webcam, but it's not like webcams are always work all the time. No, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need something better. We need something better than USB. And I'm not talking about USB 4. That's not what I want to see, because they're going to do the same thing to USB 4 that they've done to 3. There's already like 19 different specs for it.
Ooh.
And if you ask me, I know this sounds crazy to people whose job it is to confuse the end user, is there should be one USB 4 spec and everything has to be backwards compatible with it. Period. That's it. Like, it's got to just have everything built in. Let's just get rid of the, Type C to W backflip, whatever 4. Like, it's just USB 4. It does everything. Everything is backwards compatible with all the 3 stuff, all the 2 stuff, maybe the Gen 1 stuff. But every device, if you have a US, and we need to come up with a color for it, standardize it. Myrrh. I want the color myrrh to be the port.
There we go.
And when you see a Myrrh port, you're like, that's USB 4. There's this one connector for it. That's it. And everything has to work on it. And you're just done with it.
You know what? Bright yellow. That's what we need.
MSI's on top of that, though. Sometimes you see the bright yellow ports on motherboards.
True.
Sometimes you're like, what's going on with this? Get out you don't get out the manual these days. You download the PDF and you scroll through, like, what are the yellow ports for? And it's always some made up thing. They're like, use this to flash BIOS or something like that. So,
yeah, Mir, it's so true. Bluetooth keyboards sometimes don't work at the grub. In fact, I don't use Bluetooth keyboards on any computer that I need to access the BIOS or use grub. I just bypass that one. Just
surprisingly,
use wireless USB.
This guy, now again, this one is doesn't use Bluetooth though.
Yeah, it's regular wireless. Those are no problem. It's the Bluetooth standard.
Now, who remembers the old school wireless keyboards? Because I've never owned one myself, I had a friend that owned one because it was like novel. It used IR, line of sight.
Oh, yeah. That was
So
a
it
thing.
was wireless in the sense that you could have it about that far away from the receiver.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why?
Yeah.
What's the
Line
point?
of sight. It was nice back in the day to be able to transfer data from one computer to the next. Old machines.
We've all done that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you can transfer data. I had a Palm Pilot, and I tried that with a laptop one time, and we left it, went and did something. We were working
Takes
and came
forever.
back, and we're talking dozens of kilobytes here. We're not talking megabytes.
Yeah.
That was painfully slow, but it worked. It worked. It was wireless. It was moon magic at the time. You're like, what? So cool. And it was. It was absolutely cool.
Yeah.
I think for the better, though, our requirements for cool factor have been raised over the years, especially in 2022. Things need to have a little extra sparkle to them.
Sparkle. Make a pretty port, USB standard.
I say make it a circle, make it a barrel jack.
Oh, yeah. That's easy not to break.
I mean, we know barrel jacks work. You're like, what are you talking about? Power connectors. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a barrel jack.
And then people would get confused between power adapters and USB.
You know what? That's a perfectly valid point, but we'll make it a notched barrel jack.
There you go.
I don't. We'll make it in the shape
Make
of
it
a star.
like a BNC cable. I mean, there you go.
Every time I get angry every time I think about BNC cables, mainly because my life would be so dramatically simplified if somebody made a video card, a modern video card that had SDI out, which requires the 3G
Yeah.
BNC cable, and instead I have to use HDMI for everything, but I have everything I need. See, here's the thing. For like video switching on like a standard card, you can get like 4 HDMI ports, which there's exactly 2 companies that make quad HDMI, and I own both of them. However, if we get down to mini SDI inputs, you can easily get cards from multiple companies that can do 8 channels at one time. And then you're not dealing with HDMI cables that of questionable quality.
Yeah. True.
But who knows? It would be standardizing, yes. Well, standardizing. USB is just such a poop. No, I'm not saying, like, you know what? Lightning is a poop show, too. For our brothers and sisters out there on Mac going, hey, and I'm like, no, let's be real. I've been doing some research into Lightning for doing a very, very comically long, very, very Apple expensive conversion chain to get FireWire 400 or 800 working with modern, not M2, but the latest generation, the last generation, I guess it's safe to say, of x86 Macs.
Okay.
And I think it's 3 or 4 different adapters, and it's over $200, of course, which you might think that's cheap for 4 Apple adapters. And I guess you might be right. So who knows?
Yay, boo. Yeah, of course you would be in IMDb. We never check that because he's in the credits of every Mattel Barbie movie because he does the product. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want anybody to edit Steve's IMDb page.
Yeah. Actually, let me go look.
In fact, I'm willing to bet it would be impossible to do such, so don't even try. But since he's got an IMDb page, use it as an excuse to create a Wikipedia entry on
Here
it,
it
and
is.
let's all edit that collectively.
Boo boo, this is exciting.
Now, Steve, I want to know more about your stalker, because whoever mentioned that to you is your stalker. It was really like, hey, Steve, did you know you got an IMDb page? Like,
Steve Reinecker is known for Barbie Starlight Adventure 2016, Barbie and the Pink Shoes 2013, and Barbie Mariposa and the Fairy Princess True 2013. See full bio. We need a bio, boo. But that's awesome. Someone put you in there. Because you belong there. You're famous. Yeah, he's done so much stuff. Look at all this. There's tons of movies in here.
Now, Steve, you got to tell me, did somebody come to you with this information, or were you doing a vanity search?
Yeah, I should be in there, but I'm probably under a different name from different companies I've worked for. I don't know.
Someone told you? Watch out for that person.
Do.
All right, we got about 9 minutes before go time.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'll have to.
all of that's together. We're at this beautiful time of the year, everyone, where it seems like a nice warm glass of tea sounds like a great idea until you're about 3/4 of the way through it, and you're like, man, it's too hot to drink tea.
Oh, okay. I've been drinking tea at night, honey and vanilla, and I love it. And then I put real honey in it as well, and it's delicious. But no caffeine, just herbal.
I mean, you get the. I messed up and bought some of the decaffeinated tea, which is the only reason I know they make it.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying any attention, and it had like little mice type on it. It was like decaffeinated, but it was in stock, and I don't shop when I'm getting groceries. And I did like, boom, went in the cart.
Oh,
Got
okay.
home. And, I was on like cup 17 in the morning. And I'm like, something's not right. I just felt
Yeah, you weren't getting that pick-me-up, huh, Ben?
it's not even a pick-me-up at this point. It is just like achieving that normalcy of getting the chemical balance of, I'm like, oh, it was like the same time I learned that Sprite didn't have caffeine in it after I drank the 12-pack, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah, that's why occasionally I have Sprite, because I can drink it, no caffeine. Oh, I will be right back.
your grandparents are in IMDb? What do they do? I'm totally not about to open that up and find out. TV series, Volcanologist, University of Oregon, maybe? In Search of, man, I've seen that. What was that from, like the 70s? I don't know what a Pepsi tastes like. I'm not throwing shade on Pepsi. I don't like non-diet drinks, they're too sweet, but I don't think I've had a Diet Pepsi. I know I've had a Diet Pepsi, though, right? Does the Diet Pepsi taste anything like a Diet Coke? Fair question, right? Tab. Yeah, Tab. I'll buy Diet Coke or Diet Coke derivatives. That's kind of where I'm at. I like that bitter taste. And I'm not alone. It's 2022. It's cool. I mean, if you enjoy the taste of Diet Coke like I do too, you can come out and you can tell everybody it's safe. There are those of us who just enjoy the taste of a Diet Coke. My problem is I enjoy the taste of all 12 of them in 60 minutes. That's a problem. I tried the Coke Zero. Way too sweet. But I mean, I guess if you like, I guess that tastes like regular Coke. I don't know. I will have a margarita if it's sour enough, but I'll have one. Just if you want to see me like jacked up bouncing off the walls. Sugar. Because I just avoid sugar. But, if you get a better enough margarita, I'll get one at a restaurant. Like, I'll be jittery with the sugar. I'm like, ah. It's what you would imagine, being like jacked up on caffeine or methamphetamine, maybe. But I do like a margarita, but I can't have more than one because my body just goes into shock and I get a headache. I have the same problem with, I really enjoy the taste of, what is it, Mike's Hard Lemonade? You know those things, alcoholic Sprites. I never liked Zima, but like the Mike Hard, you know, the lemonade, I guess they're malt liquors, right? But they're carbonated and they're fizzy. But that's the problem. I can drink 6 of them real quick, and that's not a good time. Not for the alcohol content. I just get like a sugar headache or whatever that is. I would avoid it. Mike's Hard Lemonade is malt liquor? Okay, that. But they're tasty. Like, in the same vein of a margarita, I mean, that. Dangerously tasty. Dangerously tasty because you can absolutely kill a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade in, I don't know, what, 45 minutes? Just a little grip and sip. Casual conversation. But, I mean, if you want to go down that route, like, if we're already in the malt liquor universe, we might as well travel to ciders. Because I enjoy a good cider. But a cider, like a Hornsby. I'll have one. That's it. I don't want any more after I've had that one. Like, that was delicious. Good. Let's move back on to something less appley. I guess you can. Do they still make Zimas? This is a real question, isn't it? I fear we've looked this up. Introduced in limited release. There was a limited release of Zimas in 2018. Huh. All right. White Claw. See, I haven't had a White Claw. I need to have a White Claw. Gotta do the claw. So White Claw is what? Just carbonated water and alcohol? It is the low-calorie option for getting a little tipsy. It is malt liquor? All right. I did not know that. What is White Claw? Hard seltzer. An alcoholic. Hang on. What is going on here? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. I was recording something on this scene, everyone. There we go. We're getting there. Chromium. No, that's show notes. Where can we go? Where can we go? Nope. That's said Firefox. What is White Claw? Aha! Hard seltzer, an alcoholic seltzer water beverage manufactured by the Mark Anthony Group. That one. And, it's been around for a long time. Okay. Seltzer water, gluten-free, malted alcohol base. Yeah. 100%. Introduced in 2016, which was 6 years ago. What was the, am I just imagining this? Wasn't there like an energy drink, an alcoholic energy drink that got banned? That sounds familiar. That sounds frighteningly familiar as to whether or not that's a real thing. I'm absolutely at that age of like, senility. It's neat. Four Loko? Okay. Was that the equivalent of the Red Bull Vodak? But prepackaged, an alcoholic energy drink. Is what I'm trying to get at.
You guys are talking about energy drinks. I can't stand those, but I don't drink caffeine, so I've had a sip of a couple that I like the flavor of.
I want to say there's Well, I know there's a sugar-free Red Bull. That's the only one that I'll grab one of those on occasion. Is there a caffeine-free Red Bull? Because Red Bulls do not have a lot of caffeine in them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, all the other ones I know of have lots of caffeine in them, so I stay clear. Yeah.
I know back in the 80s, what qualified as an energy drink? Let me tell you, everyone, Jolt Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Twice the sugar, twice the caffeine. It wasn't good.
Yeah. I had someone pull a practical joke on me and said it was Pepsi, and it tasted a little funny to me, and I'm like, this isn't Pepsi, and I had a really bad heart issue after it. So I'm like, no, this was not Pepsi. Because Pepsi I've got to be careful with because it's got, unless it's decaf. But no, I was up for 2 days in a row. My heart would not stop. It's horrible.
Diet Pepsi, caffeine-free Pepsi. I don't know. I was talking about that earlier. I did have that adventure one time where I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy this caffeine-free. It might not have been caffeine-free. It was definitely a Diet Coke, and I believe it had lime in it. Because I was curious.
Okay.
I'll always nibble on something if it's new. I'm like, it was atrocious. It was bad. It was so bad. I had it for 3 days. I was nursing it because I was forcing myself to finish it as punishment for buying it. To learn myself an important lesson, which I've completely forgotten at this point. All right. Everyone. We're about
That would
to
be funny, Linux Guru. Viagra should make an energy drink.
To hop into this, let me grab a little bit of refill, and we're going to talk about Microsoft's new ARM-powered development kit.
Yeah. Microsoft loves Linux, not this time.
They do. They love Linux. They absolutely love Linux, Jill. You can't deny it.
No, they do. They like the money that it generates, yes.
That is the, what is, do I not? Oh, no. Oh, I know where it's at. Let's see. Hang on. I just want to make sure I have that. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Give me like a minute and a half, and we're going to rock into this.
Sounds good. Hey, Gamatron. Yeah, you're afraid to touch it. Yeah. I had Monster. That was my last experience with the energy drink many moons ago when it was new. And I just took a couple sips because I knew it was full of stuff I shouldn't have. So, and that's my last experience with energy drinks. So I don't drink them at all. My favorite energy drink of late just has sugar in it. So it's the vanilla creme frappuccino at Starbucks. Because it's like a milkshake, but half the calories. It's really good. And they make a strawberry one that tastes like strawberry milk, a Nesquik strawberry milk. Britta. Oh yeah, so true, honey. Yay, hot cocoa or hot vanilla. Yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Mir, do you like the pumpkin spice? I know Steven does. I like a little bit of it sometimes. Yeah, well, water's good for... Water is what I drink 90% of the time. And then when I'm eating, I often will have some of the zero-calorie bubbly drinks like Bubbly and Aha and Soleil. And then I also drink Hint water, which I love because it's water with a little bit of flavor with no calories. Yeah. Yeah, Mir. Yeah, Steven loves his pumpkin pie too. Hey, hot chocolate. Yummy. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I've got to order some of my favorite vanilla hot chocolate. It's kind of hard to find this one particular brand. Oh, Linux Ganura. Ganuru, we have a black kitty too. Oh, yours is a longer haired black kitty. What a sweet kitty, Linux Ganuru. Aw, beautiful kitty. Aw, your roommate's cat is called the cat.
It looks delicious.
No, kitty's beautiful. The cat is beautiful.
I would like to make a public service announcement. You got to watch out when you're buying soap. Like hand soap, bar soap. You know the soap that comes in bars.
Yeah.
Cleverly disguised. It says it's bar soap. I typically buy green soap, and by that, it's usually Irish Spring.
Okay.
Sometimes it's that weird Irish Spring variant because I don't notice until I get home, and I'm like, oh, this is like Irish Sprung.
Irish Sprung.
It's like, right. It was the one next to that. I bought a big value pack of Irish Spring the other day. It's like, oh, that's neat. And again, no shopping. It's like, walk by, boom, slam and cart. Get home.
Nice.
They've changed the formula. It's new Coke.
Oh, no. Yeah, I hate that.
It's,
Your favorite brands
Irish
change.
Spring. It just smells like green. It's inoffensive to me. And this is like Irish Spring with extra moisture or something. It's blue.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah, I like that one actually because it's smooth.
I don't know. It doesn't smell green, Jill.
Yeah.
I open the
doesn't
box up
smell
and go,
green.
it's like, that doesn't smell green. Oh, well, whatever. Like, what are you going to do? Bring back soap? Oh.
I have to get all the soaps that are like anti-allergy and whatnot because I break out with a lot of the standard soaps.
Do I need to come up on... Give me one
Boy,
second.
it's alive. Oh yeah, that's your skull you're working on.
Okay, let's have
Linux Ganura. It was so cool. I saw that in chat. The eyes light up.
Maybe that is... yeah, it's about where I want to be on that. Let me save that.
Next gen Frank. Yeah, so true. Art Theron.
There we
Yeah, that is so cool, Linux Ganura.
First project I 3D printed. What was the first thing I 3D printed? We didn't have Bodie McBenchy back then. Whatever came with that OG MakerBot thing. I know there was
okay.
one made out of wood you had to put together.
Yeah.
I've somehow managed to avoid buying, you might remember a couple of months ago, I was kind of considering buying a new 3D printer.
Yeah, that's right.
I managed to avoid it so far. I'm doing good. Being all responsible with that. Yeah. They're cool. They're cool, but I also worry about them turning into a really good way to... turning into an expensive hobby is what I'm trying to get into.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah. The first thing I ever 3D printed was a 3D print of Tux the Penguin. Many moons ago, when they were new. When they were new to consumer. Me and Steve have access to multi-million-dollar ones.
So is that code for saying Steve's got him at work?
Yeah. He's had them since the early 90s, So
Like
we've been doing
allegedly,
that.
because we're not saying that Steve has let anyone outside of the company ever use them.
Yeah, actually late 80s, I should say. I think the first one they got was in the 80s.
Don't have a lot of. I got a lot more experience with CNC machines than I do with I should say I got a lot more experience breaking CNC machines. And saying it was your fault for letting me mess with it in the first place. All right, so that is together. That's good.
Early 90s. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if the wax machine was earlier.
Do I have that together? Maybe. See if I can get to the right tab. Ah. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And yeah. Okay. And we do have Halloween coming up, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I thought about that the other day. I was like, is it Halloween? Like, no.
Yeah, Monday.
As one does in these trying times of what day is still in the holiday, because you don't know. Like, remember these?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those like get stuck in your teeth. I actually kind of liked them. But it was always the cheap candy. But I like the candy.
What do people normally give out for Halloween now? What's the
Oh, like chocolate bars, the little mini, Nestle bars and Butterfingers and those kind of things. Those are really popular right now. Actually, they have been for years, but that's gained in popularity. I like the taffies and the suckers and that kind of thing. I like the cheap candies, actually. Yeah, saltwater taffy is yummy. I love that, Matthew.
what is the
I'm giving out Dum Dum suckers this year. I like those because they're small and they have a lot of good flavor.
They get a pretty good range on them. You can like beam the kids from across the lawn. Bam. Don't throw candy at kids. Unless it's a retaliation.
Yeah, those Dum Dums. And I like the mystery flavors. Trying find the new mystery flavor.
That sounds like a kaleidoscope of nightmare. It's like, here's something. What's it taste like? Don't know.
Yeah.
You see, I fear they're all like normal. Like, if one of the mystery flavors was, I don't know, feet.
Yeah.
Might have a different take on it. Then some people might not if you watch Game of Thrones. Let's get back in the show notes. All right, you ready, Jill?
Okay, I am ready.
We have things together. Before I do that, there's an update finally to Ulsa Player. I saw that in the testing repo, but I didn't update it because I'm not that brave. Let's scroll up. LGC outro. And somewhere in there it is. All right, we got it. And I double checked, and we have the correct credits this week. I still don't know what happened last week. I think I typoed fat-fingered credits in DaVinci when I was exporting it and didn't pay attention. So I exported something that was probably like credits .mov instead of credits. I think that was our problem.
Oh, okay.
But don't worry, we had backup credits anyway, so we're good.
Yeah.
3.19667. That's about where I want it to be, I think. Hang on. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Click, clack, and we hit record. Okay. Come on, UPS. I'm listening. I'm waiting.
I heard it.
What did you hear?
The little clunk clunk. Was that the UPS?
No, I was trying to summon them.
Oh, okay.
Tried to summon them.
That must have been your chair. A little clunk.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vin Stone, joined every week by Jill Bryant and everyone watching us live on Twitch. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. Intel drivers, we got a new development kit for the not Raspberry Pi from Microsoft, and it doesn't run Linux. Stay tuned for that, but let's see what's been going on. We did play a little bit of Trackmania last night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We had some challenging tracks, and we had 2 boss maps. Ven was sneaky.
I got him. I got him good.
You did.
I was playing along with him. They're like, this one's so tough, so tough. Okay, let's get back to that LOL map because we start with a fun jokey map at the beginning.
Yeah.
And none of us could finish it, but we were all frustrated. You know, that joyful frustration of like, let's go back. We got to get back and see if we can do that again.
Yeah.
And it dumped into the real boss map, and we're like, what? It's like, gotcha. So, what else you been up to?
Oh boy, so I actually got a new cute kawaii penguin plushie to add to my collection. But this one is ready for Halloween and dressed in a bee costume. Isn't it cute? And to show my Halloween penguin plushie. Little bee. So
that
adorable.
Is truly horrifying.
It's so cute.
Is that one of like the actors in the new Jason movie?
No.
Squawk, 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 squawk. Oh man.
Yeah, Mir in chat says that stings. Aw, it does, but it's cute while it's doing it.
Tune into the video version. Go look at it, and see if I'm not responsible for any nightmares that may result from
yes,
the consumption of that. Man, I've been up to a bunch of fun things. Now, Trackmania, I'm working on a page because I'm getting a lot of questions about people. I'm like, how do I get in? How do I get into the server and all that? Because, hey, it's a fun hangout thing that we do on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to put a page on our web zone with like instructions to make that easier for our Twitch subs and patrons. But I've been on this adventure with this package that was supposed to come Monday. I take Mondays off. I don't do anything on Mondays. I try not to do anything on Mondays. I don't make plans to do things on Mondays. If something comes up, hey, whatever. But it wasn't a big deal. I was at home all day, chilling out. And you know how you get when you're waiting on a package, especially if you're not going on, especially if you're staying at home waiting on that package. You know it's going to come at the very end of the day or the second you get in the shower or something like that.
Absolutely.
You just know. I was prepared for that. Like, I'm fine. I'm waiting on this package all the way to like 6, and we're getting into the fall. So with it, like somewhere between 6 and 6:01, the light switch goes out outside. So it just goes from, hey, it's perfectly fine. And you can walk to the back of your house and look out the window. Oh, it's pitch dark outside. Fine. I'm waiting till 7. Waiting till 8. 8:30, I give up hope. 8:35, I'm on Google. How late does UPS deliver?
Yeah.
And then I go check it, and I check it, and it's like, oh no, it still says it's out for delivery. I get an update at like 10 p.m. saying, not even delivery exception. It says, hey, we're going to ship this to UPS to be delivered. And I'm like, oh, so this guy apparently did the thing, because you've had this happen with Amazon before. You'll order something on Amazon, and it'll go like halfway to your house with UPS or FedEx, and last mile delivery will be USPS. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Yesterday, chilling out, waiting. Of course, it's going to show up. Never shows up. Says there's a delivery exception.
Aww.
That it's back at the hub. And I'm like, I thought you guys said it was going to UPS. And then it was out for delivery again for a minute and back again. So I don't know. Stay tuned next week and we'll find out what this insignificant little package is too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm not even upset. I'm having fun with it. I'm like, I've screenshotted this adventure of this very simple little thing, but
I hope it's not damaged. I hope it's not damaged or lost or something.
It's small and cheap enough to where I would not be upset with it. I'm curious at this point. I want the explanation of like what went wrong in your system, UPS. But 4th Gen Epic announcements are coming.
Yeah, they are, Van. Pretty sweet.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the price of not the 3rd, but the 2nd Gen Epics to get even cheaper. Because that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. As soon as I get over the price of that motherboard. And I got something planned for everybody. I talked about this a little bit on Saturday. You know, the past couple of years, the prices on used products, especially cameras and audio stuff, you know, people trying to work from home and all that fun stuff, has just it's been crazy. It's been insane. You know, we were talking about even things like the Logitech C920. We were seeing those go for upwards of $200 at some point.
That was amazing. I saw $250 one time. I was like, oh my gosh.
Just ridiculous. And, you know, all the stuff I tried to do for the interfacing Linux and guides and hardware stuff like that is, there's no value to it for the past couple of years. You know, I love finding something like, oh, this is really cool. And we can use it with Linux and extract additional value out of it. You know, that's why I even seen like a lot of Firewire stuff and like that, because delusional people selling used gear, they're like, oh, I can get, you know, an extra 150, 200. It's like, no, you can. And so they've just been quietly waiting and prices are ticking back down. There's a very interesting DLSR camera that I'm going to show everybody how to hack the firmware on.
Oh, nice.
It's one of those cameras that was just software limited. You know, if you plugged in, you know, your HDMI out on it, it had the overlay.
Yeah.
And the company was like, yeah, we just keep that on there. But if you buy the next model up, we remove it.
Nice.
Oh, no, you want to shake your fist at that. You know, same hardware. They're like, no, we just want more money if we're going to enable the Pro feature. So I'm going to show you how to hack into it from Linux. Yeah. Take that off, get it set up. And they're really good values right now. The price is coming back down to like, ooh, good score. Also,
oh, nice.
Yeah, kind of happy about that. And audio production is in works. The Tascam 1608 US video, all that stuff, all the writing is done. I'm going to be pushing that out after midnight tonight. If you've been a patron, you've already seen the video. But I'll have all the compilation bits because that audio interface has got this really cool built-in DSP mixer with over 280 controls on it. And a slick GUI. It's got the compression, EQ.
Ooh.
You can do all the volumes. And it's a real mixer. It's got a brain box inside of it that, you know, you can program it, unplug it from a computer and use it out and about, however you want to do it like that. And that's really neat.
Oh, that's sweet, Van.
Not as neat as the Intel ARC cards that I still can't buy Intel.
Yeah, I know.
I stand by what I said. You genuinely made 10 of the 770 16 gigs. You put 4 on Newegg and you gave them out to reviewers because they are not in stock. Those are not on eBay. And I don't really want one at this point, but somebody has determined, what did we talk about on Saturday? Intel had came out.
Released their official drivers.
Yeah, official PPA drivers. Official PPA drivers that only worked on Ubuntu 22.04. That's not the cool part. And only worked on one particular OEM version of kernel 517 if you wanted DKMS. Like,
yes.
What? What? And if you've been following Linux, especially like AMD binary drivers for a little while, you know about the GEMP help file joke that we used to make because that was one strange requirement in the binary AMD drivers. You'd get down to the system requirements and it's like GEMP help file support or whatever. Well, thankfully, Sean is going to try to simplify some of that. And this is bioslevel.com. All this is going to be in our show notes with a little work, full 3D acceleration, hardware decoding and encoding for the ARC series GPUs. This was kind of a fun read, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was able to play around the official drivers and, you know, I wanted to see how those worked out of the box. They didn't, apparently. At least for Sean, they didn't work with 2204, but, you know, as I said, that Intel guide required running that particular kernel and all that. He tried it. It didn't work. Unfortunately, he didn't exactly list what failed during that install, and I'd like to know. I'm pretty sure Intel would like to know too. However, there's a workaround. In this setup, it's not bad considering. Basically, it's able to get kernel 6.0, the latest firmware for the kernel, the latest Mesa, compiling the Intel media drivers, and some added i386 bits just to get your Steam games up and running. However, I don't think this method is going to get you access to your compute, your OpenCL. And that's the stuff I really wanted to play with. So a little sad about that. But if you're just playing games, Jill, this should do it for you, right?
Yeah, he was playing Borderlands too. Yeah. with the card, and it did a good job. And I just want to thank Sean Potter for, documenting all your troubleshooting and creating a manual for those of us who want to play with an Intel Arc on Linux. I'm looking forward to getting one. I've been looking at the A550, and it's been available every few days, it seems, at the local Micro Center. So I've been wanting to take a chance with one of those and play with it. And yeah, Ven, I had heard that the new kernel 6.0 would be needed to run Arc fully. So it was interesting that the Intel drivers weren't using 6.0, but was it 5.19.17?
Well, I think most of that is going to be based on the, if you're going to use kernel 6.0, you're going to be using the open source Mesa stack.
Oh, okay.
And Intel, with their binary blob stack, they're not reliant on Mesa.
Oh,
so they're able to use whatever. I mean, if it works. And yeah, like you, I'm 100% curious, but I wanted to play with one of these. But even like the 770, the only thing anyone whose name's Vin Stone is interested in is the 16 gig 770, because it kind of sort of trade blows with my 3060 regular vanilla 12 gig. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see how they compare. And, I don't want to buy something lower than that. I want to see if at least one gets maybe comparisons with the low end of last generation's Intel cards, not Intel, but NVIDIA cards. Intel, if you want to send me one at this point, I'll play around with it, but I'm not going to go out and wait for one, try to buy it. Especially, Joe, we got an AMD announcement coming up.
I know. I am really looking forward to that. My RX 6900 might become the newest 7000 series instead of buying in a 6900. Maybe I want that 20 gig or 24 gig card.
And we also saw the note from AMD. They're not going to be using the special modified Fire connector that AMD is using on the 4090 series.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a letdown. You won't be able to always wonder whether or not the new 12-volt power rail is just going to melt. Mm-hmm. You're going to miss out on all that fun with the AMD cards.
Oh, that's been so fun to watch with the NVIDIA cards, and they even tell you, this is how you're supposed to put the connector so there's not a bend near the terminal. And you're like, but you can't not bend it there.
Well, I think that's what it's going to be teaching, especially like the NVIDIA, the 4090s, and I don't know if the 4080s use that same connector. We're just going to, because I know they use that connector on the 3090 Ti or 3090. Mm-hmm. I'm not completely, but the connector's been in the news with a bunch of YouTubers and a bunch of people because the Reddit post, there's been 3 reports of this thing just melting.
Frying, yeah.
To different degrees. And here's what I said in Discord. A whole new generation, the youngins, the childrens, they're learning this is why you shouldn't wrench on power cables to try to make them look pretty.
Yes.
Okay. You can figure this out one way or the other. I'm sorry. 9 times out of 13. Oh, I got a problem, Vin. What's going on? Well, you see, I got the 12-volt ATX or the EPS connector, and you see, I got it wrenched around so you can't see. I'm like, yeah, you pulled this out. There you go. Click. Now it's back in place. Don't do that. A whole new generation is going to learn the dangers of doing that and why you shouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that.
But even just hooking it up normally, it had issues. Without it, with the normal, especially if you have a case that has a glass, cover on it, and you want it to come out forward. That's the normal.
You click it in and you leave it alone. It's a delicate connector. Now, and I completely say this. If you look at the Threadripper system I have right now, and it's got one of those, the 3060's got that connector like in the middle of the card.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is nice, clean out of the way, but no, that's just big, dangly, just hanging
there. Oh,
yeah.
Like, mine do that too. You have to. Yeah, I do it, to leave some slack in the cable so it's not being
I got all
bent.
the slack. I do. Yeah. It's just droopy. It looks horrible. I'm like, don't care. Don't care. I'm not messing around with it. Yeah. But you're not going to have to deal with that on the AMD cards. And that's nice. That's nice because AMD they came out and said, hey, we're not using that connector, by the way, which is neat. And you know what? That connector is not necessarily a bad thing. They need to work it out. The biggest thing with that connector right now is the power supplies that are intelligent enough to make sense of that connector properly are not really out on the market yet. So You know, it's a little bit chicken and chainsaw going on.
Yeah.
However, I think it is, AMD said, like on the 3rd or whatever, they're going to be doing a live stream. So I'll be tuning in and watching that because my next card might be AMD. It's not going to be Intel. I've already made it, would have been Intel like what, 6 months ago? 100%. 100%. If they'd released that 770.
And a while back ago, it would have been nice.
Before I was able to get a hold of a 3060 or just like right at the same time, I would have bought it, went through the growing pains that you're going to deal with any type of new GPU on the market. I would have been happy with it, Intel, but those times Intel knows these things.
Yay, Vin's going to have an AMD GPU. I am so happy.
I didn't say I was going to buy one. In reality, here's what AMD is competing against. A working solution. Because as much... Isn't that right, Linus? That's right. And NVIDIA, number one, 100%, and we're talking about the real Linus, not the squeaky one, is as much as you want to hate on NVIDIA, and rightfully so too. I know if I bought a 4060, it's going to be boring, Jill. I'm going to buy it, I'm going to plug it in, I'm going to install the drivers, and it's just going to work.
Yeah.
Never going to mess with it. I'm not going to be tinkering with anything. I'm not going to be downloading, updating Mesa stack or having to get a special kernel for it. I'm like, it's boring. I want something a little more exciting. That's why I'm just got an eye out on AMD.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Especially if you get that AV1 codec support, which I think is coming.
I know. But see, that's where NVIDIA just has that stranglehold. They're like, oh, you like the AV1? Yeah, we have dual encoders on our card. I'm like, yeah.
I know.
Oh, man. Again, if I find an ARC 770 16 gig at a consignment shop for 99 cents, unlike with the Steam streaming thing that I saw for 99 cents, I will in fact buy the ARC thing, unlike the Steam. What was that thing called? The Steam. The little ARM powered. No.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I have one. I have one. I'm spacing.
I just left it there. Jill, tell me about this new canonical release, Ubuntu 22.10.
Okay. So Canonical has released Ubuntu 22.10 Kinetic Kudu with major Kinetic. It's a fast-moving kudu with major updates and lots of new features. And one of the biggest updates lots of us have been looking forward to is that Pipewire is now the default audio system in Ubuntu 22.10, with the Wire Plumber Session Manager being included too. And of course, we all know the benefits of Pipewire. Pipewire will provide better Bluetooth connectivity, improved performance for video conferencing, and better integration of end user and professional audio tools. So that's really sweet. And boy, there is so much in this release we can't cover at all. So you need to go to the show notes and read through. We have 2 links for articles. And there's actually this release sees a new version of GNOME 43, and it has a new quick settings feature on the top right of the GNOME panel and features a new pod-based system menu instead of the previous list-based one. And from there, you can just one click to enable and disable Wi-Fi, VPN, Bluetooth, nightlight, airplane mode, and dark mode. And the network pod also supports in-menu subpanels where you can select a different network directly. No more pop-up model or trip to network settings required, which is really nice and convenient. And one of my favorite new changes when I was going through the ISO was now with the new quick toggles panel, you can change audio input and output devices right from the menu. And that's very convenient instead of having to go to system settings.
So basically, walking into this, I'll be. So with the new Ubuntu, the first thing you got to take out is Pipewire. Got it. And,
I mostly still use Pavu control, of course. Ven has trained me.
Pipewire is doing everything that it's intended to do. You don't even have to worry about it. It's sitting in the background. The only time I run into problems with Pipewire is when I'm dealing with like low latency audio stuff, and that. Ooh, no. Anything in there that really stood out? New GNOME 43. It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's so much more responsive and even more beautiful. And I'm really happy because it's, based on GTK4 now, which is really smooth and sweet. So it just makes everything zippier. And even the Nautilus file manager has a lot of new updates. It's more responsive and is better integrated with GNOME disks for formatting. And visually, it has been updated to look more modern and cleaner. And it's easier. One of the things I found out is that it's easier to select and copy multiple files in the list view by dragging a box around them and hitting, copy or paste. And that it makes life a lot easier in that file manager. I don't usually use Nautilus because of some of these annoyances, but they are fixing them.
That's good.
Nice.
It's always a fantastic way. No, this is using a end-of-life kernel. I do see that kernel 5.19.
Yes. Yeah, it's because 6.0 didn't come out soon enough for them to integrate it. So it'll be in the next release.
And Nautilus is better integrated with. I do love GNOME Disk.
GNOME
as somebody
Disk
who's I've been very. I don't use GNOME Desktop. I don't have anger or hatred towards it. It's just not the tool that I need for my job. But I love GNOME Disk, and I've said this about several GNOME applications. That thing spoiled me. That thing's been so good for so long.
Yeah, it really has. Been using it for
installing
years.
a new drive, just checking something, and all that.
Yeah.
I had an adventure. I don't know, maybe a year ago when I put a drive into the Raspberry Pi, an SSD drive, and I don't have GNOME Disk. What do I do?
Yeah.
Like, do I remember how to do this from the command line? It took me probably 40 minutes of smacking my head against the wall with that because I wanted to do it without Googling. I finally figured it out. But yeah, GNOME Disk, excellent piece of software. And I'm glad to see.
Absolutely.
And GTK4 stuff is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Anything else in there that just kind of jumps out at you?
Oh, well, one of the big things also is that the new Steam Snap that's available in the Ubuntu software includes the latest Mesa. And
we talked about
that's
that a little bit
interesting.
on Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
If you want like a deep dive into that, go check out Linux Gamecast Weekly, last week's episode. That was like the use case, because I said right at the beginning, I'm not going to walk out and just hate on Snap. You do you. But, if you wanted to be having a different versioning with Mesa, that might be a good idea, especially if you get an AMD card, and maybe if you get the Intel card. That could be the use case for having a Snap, Steam in a container, because someone said, hey, why don't you use the Flatpak? Well, that's something that Snap thing can do. I mean,
yeah, you can use the latest and greatest Mesas.
Still got a lot of work to do to convince me that containerization on the desktop makes any sense. So that's just me. I'm just going to say that.
It's better for server side.
Have they made any improvements on sending advertisements in the when you run out?
Yeah, that's still there. It's technically not, it's not there to make canonical money. It's more just as
an
here it
advertisement.
is. Yeah.
It's a goodwill. No, they're trying to sell you something. Trust me.
Yeah.
No.
It's yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's letting you know. Yeah, it's letting
trying
you know.
to sell you something is what it's doing.
Well, yeah, it's only trying to sell you if you're not using it with over 5 machines. There we go.
Oh, man, ladies and gentlemen, that was somebody saying, no, it's cancer, but it's a good type of cancer.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. I don't have any, whatever. Like, if you're using it canonical, you're using Ubuntu, you know what you get. Like, hey, be happy with it. Don't complain. And, this is the thing about Linux. We have choices. You can go somewhere else if you don't like it. And that's fine. Now, I made Jill jump around because I wanted to get that discussion out of the way before we get into this, which has something to do with collecting vintage hardware and complaining that you can't run the latest and greatest on it, even though that you never really plan to, but you're just upset that you can't do it.
Yeah, I am sad. So back in 2012, the Linux kernel stopped supporting the i386. And I was sad then for my old 386 machines especially since the i386 CPU is what Linus used to create Linux on. So it's a very important processor in Linux's history. Well, now the Linux kernel may drop support for the i486. Dun, dun, dun. So this news comes via a post on the Linux kernel mailing list from Linus Torvalds himself, who states, "We got rid of i386 support back in 2012. Maybe it's time to get rid of i486 support in 2022. Yeah, he does have a point. And the new kernels would run on P5 class hardware, newer. So Pentium or hardware newer. So it's just, it's the i486 was always the minimal requirement for the Linux kernel for a very long time. So
let it go, let it go,
let it go, let it go. It's hard for me to let it go because then I can't update my 486 to the latest version of Debian.
That is going to wreck your productivity, isn't it? You're like, man, I was using that for some Okay, check this out. 486 architecture, introduced in 1989. That was before some of you out there were born.
Yeah, the year I graduated.
2 years before Linus himself announced the Linux kernel. I mean, this is not a young whippersnapper. This is not an up-and-coming architecture. It's been around. Intel discontinued i486 in 2007, which was more recent than I thought. I'm like, wow, that thing worked all the way up to 2007.
They did. I think it's because of NASA.
I think it's because all the little cheap embedded engineering boards laying around.
Yeah, there's that.
If you really want to get scary about NASA and 486, that's running DOS and Windows. Oh, yeah, go look that up. Now, the Linus has a point here. It's like trying to keep 486 alive is, the kind of maintenance burden. They just shouldn't have to have that in 2022, and that makes perfect sense. Nobody tests for it anymore, and that is ended up with just a bunch of old code that we don't even know that works. So let's just get rid of it. It's bloat. Like, who wants to hang on to bloat? And what are we really hanging on to bloat for? Because industrial PCs, that was brought up last time. This, somebody hinted at it and like, industrial PCs. A lot of those are just running DOS, not Linux in the first place. But move to BSD, or, are you trying to tell me that system's online? Is it connected? Do you need the latest and greatest kernel? Why? Here's the thing I always throw out, and I'm sure, Jill, you might take issue with it, but I love dragging this out. And it's like, well, with vintage hardware, why not run a period correct kernel and operating system on it?
Well, it's awesome to be able to do that, to test out. I've actually tested out running Blender on a 486, a new version, and it works.
Well,
it's
Blender
slow,
was
but it
around.
works.
Yeah, well, Blender was one new version. I wouldn't try that. But I mean, outside of, because I want to play with it, which is valid, which is cool. That's fantastic. It doesn't serve any. I know, but it's for us, those of us who tinker, and the Linux is known to support older hardware and older architectures. So taking away is always a sad day, because there's always someone out there who's using, and even actually NASA when they had the space shuttle program, they were using an embedded version of Unix on their 486s, and then they switched to Linux later. But you want to bet all of those were running like hardened 2.4x kernels? Yeah,
they were very old kernels, very, very old, yes, and on very old computers, but that were hardened for space travel.
If you want to have a good time, go read through the kernel mailing list, and fortunately, the blowback has boiled down to like, but I want to play with my 486, which is fine. Again, I don't have a complaint with that, but in reality, like, well, go play with your 486 with an older kernel.
Yeah, it's older industrial and embedded that still have the 486s around.
And they can install NetBSD or DOS.
Yeah, this is true. Or an older version of Linux is fine for a lot of those machines.
Don't tell them that, Jill. They won't have anything to complain about. They're like, no, we need to keep... And I understand like maintaining like crazy backwards compatibility. I get it. Yeah. I like that. But there does come a point, when The only time you're going to run into a 486 these days is on a vintage YouTube channel. Like, I've built a vintage gaming box, and you see the kids, they're building vintage game PCs with like Pentium 3s. I'm like, geez, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
She's Gwen, you can call that vintage. So, however it boils out, no one panic, because you'll always be able to run Linux on your i486.
Yeah, there's distros out there that specifically support the 386 and the 486.
Right.
That'll do updates.
And you get like 32-bit, 64-bit, you'll always be able to run the older stuff and the latest and greatest. And I will say, if you can show me somebody like actively like doing productivity jobs and work and stuff on a 486, I'd love to see you and shake your hand and say, I want to read the rest of your fan fiction, because you're just coming up with that. Now, if you like what we do, you can help us out. You can always share the show, leave us a comment, a like, and do all that fun stuff. Unless you're like, even like it on Facebook. Facebook changed their interface. I have a Facebook.
Oh, they did.
Business.
Yes.
Yeah, they like messed the interface all up. I was looking at the I was trying to do the advertising for last week's Linux Gamecast, and it's just like, and I got all these weird pop-ups now. I'm like, fine, I'll deal with this later. But you can help us by advertising the show. Share it if you like it. Head over to linuxgamecast.com. We got a support tab.
Yay!
We got a patron that's been around forever. We got merch. We got studio wish lists. And yeah, the best way to support us, patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Got a bunch of bonus sodas I'm throwing in there. More than we should. Access to not just this show. This is just the creamy middle part. We got the full live uncut version each and every week for you. It's over an hour of Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. If you need that tech in the background, something extra to listen to, we got you covered. Same thing for Linux Gamecast Weekly, except it's not an hour. It's 4 hours of extra content. Also got a pre-super shows. And Jordan and myself, we do a podcast called Wizards and Delete Expletive. I'll let you imagine what that is. Of our patrons, it's about the Rings of Power, House of Dragons, and it's about, because you know what they did, Joe?
What did they do?
I had a thing, I talked about it like right at the beginning of Trackmania last. Oh, by the way, you get access to our private Trackmania server. Come hang out with us on Tuesdays and Fridays. They found a way to make me watch Doctor Who again.
Yes, it's very exciting. What I predicted would happen did. No spoilers.
I predicted it, but all the leaked images came out last year.
Yeah.
I'm like, right. Now, what got me really excited about it, because I saw like, oh, look, there's a trailer for the upcoming special. It was posted on the Beebs Doctor Who channel. I clicked on, I'm like, whatever, let's see what they're like. Oh, what? Okay. And it was like a minute and 30 seconds long. And I'm like, I'm sold. We're going to do this. So our Wizards and Stuff podcast will probably turn back into like Time Lords and stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I got a feeling that we're going to be going back to watch some Doctor Who. We'd love you to listen, share your thoughts on that. We are available everywhere. Podcast, download, host all that nonsense ourselves. And we're on Spotify. We got the video thing. Our Spotify thing keeps growing like strangely, because I think this is the third time I've ever mentioned that we have a Spotify video production. Spotify is getting better though. They are. And the only thing, when I say better, I mean on the technical back end, because it used to be rolling the dice each and every week on whether or not they would process the video.
Oh, okay.
It drove me up the wall. Like sometimes it would be like I'd have to send the same video in like 5 times.
Oh,
then
boy.
they would finally process. I'm like, finally. Anything else we got? We said the Trackmania. We do that. We got the pre-super show. We got the Wizards and Stuff. We got our Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
We got Discord. Now, we do have
Very
IRC
active
chat.
Discord.
We have a very active Discord compared to effectively any other Discord I'm a member of. And we got that. You can sign up for that if you're Twitch or Patreon. We got that linked. Also, we got IRC, which is also linked to our Discord for the live channel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just hop in there, and that's also linked to Twitch chat. Thanks to Hemte Strider in the chat bot we have. What are we leaving out, Jill? I'm sure we're leaving out something.
You got everything, but we all have wish lists, me and Jordan and Pedro, so make sure to check those out. You can send us goodies and send us a note that we have to read on the air.
Right?
Yeah.
You can send Jill bees.
Yeah. You can send me more penguin plushies like this one.
Oh, I guess I do want to thank MacGeek18. Thanks for the Twitch resub. And
nice. Yeah,
Chola,
Chloe Cat Otter.
Cholotatter? I don't know.
I think it's Chloe Cat Otter sub. Yeah, thank you,
Your
Chloe
new name
Cat
is
Otter.
Sam. Thank you for the sub. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a slice of pie. And this week, we got some Microsoft pie.
But it says happy birthday, Justin.
Yeah, you don't
We're
know
saying
Justin?
happy birthday to you, Justin, in chat via a cake.
I typed in Microsoft cake, and this is the first thing I saw. And I said, how appropriate.
Justin gets to be part of the show this week.
There you go. And that's another thing. Like we have 2 or 3 token Windows users in our Discord too, and we love them to pieces. You know, you don't have to be like, I run Linux all the time from my Windows. Like, no, it's fine. Run whatever you want. BSD, IRIX, we don't care. I had somebody hit our website running the original, not original, but like the 4X series of Netscape.
Yeah.
I saw that pop up. One person. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But what are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about Microsoft.
Loves Linux.
They love Linux. Not really. Not this time. Project, not Voltron. No, this is Project Volterra. It is their second ARM-powered mini PC with 32 gigajoules of RAM. It's the Windows Dev Kit from 2023. You notice how I said second because, they released one before. Go look it up. I'm not going to do that research for you, but this is their second half attempt from Microsoft to release an ARM-powered dev kit for developers. Really surprised to see 32 gigs of RAM at this price. It is just powered by a Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3. Comes with 512 gigs of storage. Kind of makes it more of a souped up mobile phone processor versus something that you would see in an M1 or an M2, much less an M2. The Windows Dev Kit 2023 is exclusive to, you guessed it, drum roll for no one here. Big surprise, Windows 11. No official support for running other operating systems such as, also you guessed it, Linux. So here's what I would like to say to everyone. How much is this thing going to? Last year's ECS Levia QC170, another name that rolls off the tongue. 100% correct. Ours was their original. It only had 4 gigs of.
Yeah, this one's $5.99.
$5.99 is.
Yeah.
I think I have a link in the show notes for the official site, don't I?
Yeah, you do. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Let me pull that up and Microsoft.
Yes, you gotta.
$5.99.
There it is.
Ew. Now, what I want to say is Microsoft, you're absolutely right. There's no way anyone will ever be able to get Linux installed on this forever. Thank you for throwing down that gauntlet. I look forward to seeing Linux running on it probably by the end of December. However, $5.99 is more than I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah, it seems a little, I would say to me around 400 would be good, even though I know it has 32 gigs of RAM. I think $400 is a nice price to ask.
Do you think that 32 gigs of RAM is helping out with the wind bloat?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Good point, Ben. That's exactly why that's
it just
fair.
runs Windows 11?
Yeah, and, they say Microsoft says it does. They don't want their devs to run Linux. I guess. LOL. It just says Windows. But we know that's not true. Yeah. And what is nice is this box can connect up to 3 monitors using its 2 USB-C ports and a mini display port. And 2 of the displays actually can be 4K at 60 hertz. And, this dev kit has 3 USB-A ports, gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6, and Bluetooth 5.1 support. So it's a pretty nice box. And our wonderful Justin in chat said he's ordered one and one's on its way to him. So nice, Justin.
By the way, this thing is made with 20% recycled ocean plastic because they needed to let you know that just in case. That doesn't make up for Windows 11. Yeah. It doesn't make up for Windows on ARM because it genuinely feels like every now and then somebody at Microsoft goes, We have a version that kind of runs on ARM because I've said multiple times in the past, and like, oh yeah, you can always put Windows 10 on a Raspberry Pi if you don't like that Raspberry Pi or yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what I want, though. We were talking in the pre-show. I said, give me something roughly like this. Now, here's the problem. Here's the real problem Microsoft has. This has nothing to do with like what Apple is trying to get away with. But they need to come up with something at least a half measure. This is just repurposing existing silicon from mobile devices, slapping 32 gigs on it and a drive and going, hey, look, it's a desktop computer. No, it's not. Not even a little bit. What we need is maybe not a custom silicon solution from the ground up, but something more reflective of what you would expect performance-wise for a desktop machine. You know, something like i5, i7 performance. You know, give me something like 16 performance cores and, you know, a big little design. Keep that 32 gigs around, get the NVMe on there. A good development board that is a legitimate low-end desktop replacement.
Yeah.
That can run things at speed, that requires cooling. You know, something with a little bit of power. Then you say, okay, then it's $500. Like, well, maybe. Because when you say, hey, look, here's a mobile phone with 32 gigajoules of RAM slapped on it. How much? $500? I'm like, how about I just buy a Steam Deck?
Yeah. That's why Ven wants a Steam box. That would solve your problem.
Exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. I want the Steam Deck I want this, but, you know, let's scrape the Windows stuff out of it, you know. And like rip that out and we'll just shove some Valve stuff inside of it. This is exactly the device I want.
Yeah.
But
so true, Ven. So true.
maybe they got to do something a bit more. You know, Apple, when they were pushing it, you know, because Apple has experience flipping architecture, you know, starting out with RISC and moving to x86 with Intel, now moving over to ARM. They had the thing, you know, and there was a bit of controversy about it with getting the M1 dev kit. You couldn't own it. You had to send it back to Apple.
Yeah.
But Apple was smart. It was very affordable, like to effectively lease it. But Apple also gave you a credit, like when you send it back too. It made it extremely cheap to get this in developers' hands to the point of, you know, somebody was sitting there like, yeah, I might as well just get one and play with it at the very least. Microsoft walking out with this and going, give us $600. Microsoft doesn't expect any adoption on this.
Yeah.
And they need it. They need
it.
People working on this. And not Apple, but Microsoft doesn't have the answer that is Rosetta because x86, it's getting towards the end. And I'm saying like 20 years away from the end. But what we want is low power, high performance ARM devices on the desktop or whatever the desktop's going to look like in 10 or 15 years, because it's probably not going to look like what we have under our desk right now. If you have your PC on top of your desk next to you, you got bigger problems. So don't worry about anything I'm saying. And good luck with this. I look forward to seeing how well Linux runs on it.
Yeah. It's going to run beautifully, of course.
All right, Jill. We're a little over time by a bit, but we had fun. We had a lot to cover.
Yeah,
and
we did.
We also learned that your husband is on IMDb.
Yes, he is. He is.
Let's roll some credits, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Do I get a credits button?
Yeah. And then before we were trying to think of the Steam device.
Steam Link.
Steam Link. Yeah. I just remembered it. The Steam Link. Yay. Thank you, Arthur and Omegas, our advisors. And our executive producers, Barbrandt, Scott M., Atomic, Mike, Empty.
We're getting there. Abstraction and Super Death Stone, bringing up the Chicago area on business, along with our sea monsters, including
Renal,
DSN
Darkwing,
Joe.
System T, Dancing Joe, Death Notes, lots of us, including me and my husband.
Mice type.
Yeah, that I can't read.
We're going to be rolling down episode 349. It was a thing. Me, Jill, and the bee penguin.
Yeah. Bee penguin.
It's horrifying.
Yay.
All right.
Husband is IMDb famous, but I couldn't say why. Oh.
Oh yeah, Steve found out he was on IMDb today. If you got here late. That was amazing. I mean, his movie career in the early 70s was kind of wild.
Yeah, empty. It's because he's been on the production. He's done worked on things for the Barbie movies. Lots of the prototypes and for the commercial shoots and whatnot. There it is. Yeah. Except I didn't want to say that when we were live. So, I mean, live during the edited part of the show.
Steve is the OG Barbie girl.
Yeah. I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
Is that Aqua?
Yeah. Yes, you are, boo.
My dream is that one day there will be a Da Vinci app image. Oh. Okay. Like, let me tell you how I read this, everyone. I'm checking our YouTube comments. And Tobias, one day that there will be a Da Vinci app image. In the meantime, I'll just have to make Katie and Lon. What this translates to is I don't want to learn how to use Linux. With a bunch of extra words thrown in.
True, follow Stan, true. It's been so long since I've heard the song that I can't remember all the lyrics, but that was the next line. Life is plastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you can brush my hair. You can take me anywhere. I know that. I know the song. I am been over this multiple times, and this is not a recent thing. If you have a well-produced music video, I don't care about this song. Don't really care about the band. If you get a nice, snappy music video, which that was in its day, it still holds up. I'll be a fan of it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's so... I don't think I haven't listened to it enough. I've only listened to it a few times, so I never really memorized it.
That's the only song I know from Aqua, I think. Did Aqua have anything other than that? They were kind of... I don't want to call them one hit because wonder. I didn't pay attention to them. They might have a bunch of songs.
They did have other stuff, but I'm not recalling the names. I know I liked...
During that era... in the 90s, I think that was one of the videos that caught me, and another one that stuck in my head. What was it? D-Light, Groove is in the Heart.
Yeah, that is excellent. That's one I love that song.
Yeah. 90s, man. But I mean, this goes for other things like Soundgarden, like Black Hole Sun. That was an excellent music video back in the day. Time for our weekly random picture of Steve.
Yeah.
All right. I just imagine Steve's like, I can use the camera. Mattel Incorporated toy makers. Man, you're going to be a villain in a DC Batman game.
I've got the music video on now. Yeah. Presented in Aquascope.
Yeah.
I remember that.
A Lego Batman game. I don't know.
And it's kind of funny because, yeah, I didn't see the video till a lot later. Until after the song became popular. Do.
We don't get a whole lot of like crazy overproduced videos these days. They're rare when they come out, and it doesn't matter what genre it is. I'm just always like right on top of that. Like some of the few bands that still spend a lot of money on a good music video, like Rammstein.
Yeah, those are really good.
Like they made a basically a miniature movie for what was that song? Deutschland was the name of that one. Like that is like a big, like just production. Like it's a miniature film. But I don't know. What was a recent fun one I saw? The Dead South. They did that fun one. Not much, because here's the unfortunate thing. I follow a lot of rock and metal music video, and like a lot of them are like, "Hey, here's a Viking ship." I'm like, no, come on, let's do something with it not based on Norse mythology. There you go. Now it's been enhanced.
Empty. That's great. Oh, that's awesome. You got to save that one, Steve Husband.
I don't know if I saved the picture we were talking about, making better YouTube thumbnails to try to take advantage of, everybody having a headache. So I thought, the next interfacing Linux, I could do the interface having a headache.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Just the absurdity of it. And the problem with that is the YouTube algorithm would probably like that. Like, oh, yes. That makes it a better video. I'm like, no, I just can't do that. I can't do that. And what happens to each and every creator is, I'm sure there's a very linear chart of okay, fine, I'm just going to make a little headache thumbnail for LOL, and it's fun. We did that as an experiment a couple of months back.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was like a 20% increase in viewership on that video, on that Linux Gamecast.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's how people get stuck in that trap, man. Oil of Hope, yes. That that video was out. I forget what was it in, because I lost, my jaw dropped. It was in some television series, at a very popular television series that I was watching at the time. We're talking, this is the Dead South. I think they had not even 100,000 subscribers. I just ran across it because somebody had sent it to me, you'll like this video. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not a bad song either, right? And I don't know if they've blown up since then, but yeah, I have appreciation. Yeah,
I found what a lot of the more popular pop artists are doing, like Katy Perry and whatnot, is they'll make one music video of one song on the album instead of doing one for each song. It's interesting.
Well, it goes on YouTube these days, the idea of having a captive audience. What is that?
Strider's old room.
I just see all the bottles stacked up in the collection on the back wall there. Ooh, somebody tried to tap punch gaps.
Yeah, uh-oh. Aw. Justin got the warning. I hate when that happens. I get it occasionally too. And I hardly ever use all caps, but...
I think it's set on 30% caps.
Oh, okay.
So you can use, maybe a word or two in caps. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And I always use just a letter too much when I've done it. Or a word too much. Because I've done it and I've only done half the message is all caps, and it's got me. But 30%, okay. A word too far, yeah. I did, the last one I did. I did squee in all caps.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Because I was so excited here about something, but now let me do squee like that, and it goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put a bunch of E's on the end of it. There's your hack. There you go.
Frog Detective 3.
Is that the inspiring sequel to Frog Detective 1 and 2?
Yeah.
I saw that Return to Monkey Island is got the. We talked about the beta like last week, maybe a week before last, but now it's officially out on Linux. But it's point and click, and I don't know. I don't want to say I've never played the original because that's probably not true. But I'd never played it enough to where it like stuck with me at any point.
Same here, but I do remember enjoying it. I just didn't play it much, but I remember enjoying it. Frog Detective 3 later today. Frog Detective 3.
What is Frog Detective 3? You're a detective and a frog, and it's time to solve a mystery in the Wild West. That's it? All right. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It looks a bit too advanced for me. Pirated Monkey Island on the Amiga. All right.
Actually, let me look at Frog Detective 3. I think I saw the ad for that.
MS-DOS CD-ROM, man. Man, you want to talk about some load times? Let's talk about like those 1X CD-ROMs. Trying to pull media. CD caddies. Does anybody still make I guess somebody still has to make like a reasonably high quality Blu-ray drive, right? They're all backwards compatible these days, aren't they?
Yeah. I guess the Sony Blu-ray drive. We need a newer one because ours doesn't support 4K.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I haven't looked into that. Like, it'd be interesting. I'm going to have to assume nobody makes a caddy system anymore. That'd be kind of dope, though, to bring that back. Got double speed CD-ROMs? Well, I mean, when they got up to 8x before they turned into a dustbuster?
Yeah. Yeah, it was about 4 or 8 before you start.
I know 4x was still quiet. I want to say even up to 8, but like
6X,
by the time
6, there was a 6, and I think that was like I remember because 6 was like the worst to encode on because it some players didn't like it and others did. 6 was kind of the one that that was the transition to the noisy.
By the time we got to like 16x, you could hear the CD drive spool up from the next room.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Actually, Matthew, Frog Detective 3 looks fun. I'm going to put that in my watch list, and I already did. Okay. That looks like fun.
I know I watched a couple of the reviews of the Bayonetta. They got the Bayonetta 3 things sorted out. Apparently the voice actress just kind of omitted the other, like, $10,000 that they were paying her. And, like, Platinum came out, and they're like, that's not at all how it worked. And we had some other people come out and collaborate. And she didn't give the whole story.
Okay.
That's what went down, which makes it look double bad because she took a swipe at the new voice actress. On top of it all, when she did it, I was like, you're never going to get another job in voice acting doing that. So, Platinum had offered, like, I think it was like $4,000 a session for like 5 or 6 sessions, or 4 or 5, it was over 10 grand for it. So, basically it boiled down to like negotiations, breaking up, and Platinum's like, you know what, we'll just get somebody else to do it. So that's how that worked. Anyway, moral of the story is I watched some reviews of Bayonetta 3.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like a fun game. It does, but it looks like a fun game that has been limited by 6 or 7 year old mobile phone hardware, and it looks like really bad.
Because I love the first one. That was, and it looked
720p,
nice.
and it's like 720p 60-ish. I don't even know what that is, like variable resolution. It's struggling.
Oh no!
And you look at like the main character, you're like, well, we put all the work in. You look in the backgrounds, and they look like PS2 era backgrounds, just empty. There's nothing there, and they have to, like, I want to see what that game looks like on a proper gaming machine, like the Steam Deck. And I will go as far as to say I don't think it necessarily looks better than Bayonetta on the Wii U. I don't know. Yeah, the original, the one that came out. When did they release that on PC? 2000 what? It's not as long ago as you think. And I looked that up the other day. I thought it was a really old game on PC on Steam, and it was released in 2017. It's like 5 years ago. It's relatively recent on PC, but I mean, it runs great with a Proton. You could run it at, even on my 2060, I was able to run it at UHD at 60.
Yeah. That was one of the games I threw chairs at when I was on Linux Gamecast. Because I liked Bayonetta. I was happy you picked that one. That was
It's a good game.
Yeah.
And I like action. It's got a fun. It's an extremely fun game. For story-wise, and it's silly.
Yeah.
But it's also a good arcade brawler with management
it is.
for fighting. I mean, you can button mash your way through it if you want, or you can get fancy with it.
I liked exploring in it and doing the puzzles. That was one of my favorite things about it. So it was a little bit of everything. It had a little bit of everything in it.
It's got some good puzzles. That's one thing couple of the puzzles they haven't stumped me, but they've taken long. I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order. And it's got some pretty decent puzzles in it. If you're looking for like puzzle games, but I do have to warn everybody, as much as Strider is about to try to be the, doing the Strider thing, is like, I'm the one person with the different opinion to rebel. It's very Souls-like in the combat system. To the point of like the last boss, the seventh sister or ninth, I think it was seventh sister. How do you beat this evil boss? The best way to do it, according to every single YouTube video, is that you're going to spend 30 minutes rolling around in circles.
Yeah.
Rolling around the boss, and we're talking about like pro strats of like, the quickest way to do this. While taking energy shots.
Yes.
So, yeah. Probably the final boss. Yeah. I mean, it's got the bonfire mechanic from Dark Souls. It operates where, you sit down, but if you heal, all the enemies come back. Oh. I mean, I guess that adds to it. And, the combat's all based on parrying and dodging, as opposed to just like going ham, which feels kind of silly because you're a Jedi, right? You should be able to choke people and sling them around. I wouldn't be a very good Jedi. I'd be over on the dark side real quick, I fear.
Yeah. Yeah, Strider. I do have Frog Detective 1 from Humble Bundle. I just checked. Yeah, it's in my Humble Bundle. And I did play it because it looks like my Steam key was, used.
Was that in a bundle at some point then?
Yeah, it was. And which one is it in?
Remind me on Friday and I'll give somebody Frog Detective then, because that means I probably have a copy of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
It doesn't sound like something I would redeem. Oh, by the way, everyone, you can now choose your YouTube handles if you haven't gotten a million of those emails. So if your YouTube channel has been, like youtube.com/11, 13, 16, squiggly line, JK12. It used to be a limitation of you had to have, so many subscribers and all that, then you could change it. Like ours is just Linux Gamecast. But now everybody can do it. And the irritating thing is we have to take a trip all the way back to Google Plus. That's where this story starts.
Oh, yeah.
Where Google decided that every account that you had with Google had a Google Plus account. Then all of those accounts got their own separate YouTube channels.
I know. It was, yeah.
So I've got like 6, which means that I legitimately have 4 YouTube channels. I don't even know where they're at.
Yeah.
But I know where the 2 main ones we use, and that's how they come through. But those are all eligible for, if you have a YouTube channel, you should be able to change your name to whatever you want now.
You know, what's so funny is I never did it ages ago, and I should have. It's just, but I'm like, it's numbers. I should do that.
And to make things more confusing is we have like regular YouTube channels, then I have brand account YouTube channels. It's such a nightmare. It's such a nightmare. Like I have, thanks to Google, that was one of the severe negatives with the Google Plus doing that. Like all those accounts are linked to the point where they all kind of work together, and I'm terrified to touch any of them. It's like, it is one of those like technically not broke, don't fix. But I get, like when I go to log in, like Gmail, I had to log into Gmail the other night from a different account. Not a different account, but a different tablet than I normally use. And I had like 5 different accounts that were all under the same account, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, jeez, I don't remember these passwords. So,
I know.
ugh.
Yeah, I had that with Google too, and I finally either got rid of the other accounts or was able to merge them all finally. I don't remember.
Well, my problem is I still got AdSense tied in, and I don't know how it's tied into which accounts, because they've changed that a couple of times over the years. Like,
yeah,
it
you gotta
somehow
be careful
works.
with that.
Yeah, I'm not messing with it.
Yeah,
it's irritating. Speaking of like password management, I'm on like the first month of using Authy through Wine because I refused to install Snap and I wanted to use the desktop client. Haven't had any problems with it. Good. So there you go. If you're looking to run Authy back on the desktop since they got rid of the Chrome extension, you have Wine installed more likely than not. You don't have to do anything special. Just install it. It's there. And like a nice little desktop link. You can use Authy if you like to use Authy or whatever you want to use. I'd still be using Google Authenticator, but they didn't have the option to, you could have Google Authenticator on one Android device for the longest time. You could only have it installed on one device, which made it useless.
Yeah.
Do you just have one mobile device, Jill? You just have one, right? Just one Android device. That's it.
I actually have 3. But the other 2 are just to play with. They're not.
I think I got plugged in
I
active
just have one
tablets.
main.
Like right now, I probably have like 6 in the house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's what it is I use my other 2 phones as big as tablets, essentially.
Media consumption,
they're big.
right.
Yeah. And I mostly just use them on Wi-Fi, even though another one I have a phone account on it anyways.
3G, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 5Gs now.
Yes. Yeah, I just keep all my phones as I get, a new one, and then just use the others as consumption devices.
Yeah, I got a stack of, I don't know what to do with them, like old tablets that I've bought over the years. Let's see, I probably got like 4 or 5 in boxes. Because I have like a little rotation. Like you're about to be decommissioned once you're on this desk. If you're on this desk and all you're doing is powering Discord and the RGB lighting in this, you're the next to go because the next upgrade is going to shift that and that's going to go. But I'm sure somebody will want that Amazon tab. Like it's still kind of usable.
Oh, I have plenty of those. Yeah.
I'll be able to give it to somebody and they'll be able to use it to watch Netflix or something.
Yeah, Steven has a couple of those as well. Yeah, I have lots of tablets around. The reason I prefer the phone, and, I like the bigger phones too, but is that I can use them in bed easily. And then I got my text cranked on them big. because the tablets are hard. It's hard when you're laying down to hold a tablet, and if you fall asleep, it falls on you. And it
tablets have taught me my ability to read sideways is on point. I've learned that over the years because I'll always have it on like a table or something like that.
But I like my tablets. I just, when I'm in bed, I don't like to use a tablet.
That's why I put them on like a nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. I gotta bounce. I gotta look at see who's played some Trackmania tracks and see what the completion rates are. Because as much as I like fighting that first LOL track, I don't think we'll be able to
finish it. Yeah, get enough people to finish it.
Right. It'll take us 30 minutes before enough people to that, and I think I might swap out one or two of the other tracks, but that's gonna go do that. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Have a good time. I'm gonna go turn all the data bits into a podcast and videocast things and get them uploaded for people to consume and enjoy wherever they may be. Do I got that up? I got that up. That's running. There we go. And then I'm going to go check my UPS package and see what the latest update is.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't even care if I get it at this point. I just want to see it's an adventure.
Woden's Day.
Woden's Day. Heck, if you're in the Britannias, you know it's getting a little late. Not terribly late. I mean, you'd stay up for a couple more hours. I won't tell on you.
Yeah.
All right.
Closer to 10ish, 10 p.m.ish.
10ish.
Yeah.
Ah, man. All right, beautiful people. Jordan will be back tomorrow with I don't know what. We finished our back
your
for
campaign.
Back for Brad. We got done with. Didn't expect to finish it that quick, and you know, after I've thought about it a little bit, I was like, that thing was like $14 for one level. Jeez, Turtle Rock. So stay tuned to that. Check out our schedule, twitch.tv/schedule. If you're watching right now, there's the button. You get alerts, and then I'll let you know. But you get alerts in our Discord too. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Hi,
Good
everyone.
afternoon, morning, evening, night.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you may be. Cha,
Yeah.
cha, cha, cha. That's the sound the penguin bee makes when he's flying around.
Yeah.
Does that sometimes too, but it's mostly.
Yeah.